Welcome to the Next Step Masterclass. I'm Tim Jordan, co-founder of Service Catalyst. In this lesson, lesson 6, we're tackling something that trips up most all service business owners, and that's sales. Because most of us don't have a lead problem, we have a conversion problem. You don't need more inquiries. You need a sales process that works every time, and a follow-up system that closes the leads that we already have. It's easy to assume that growth equals more leads, but more leads without a proven sales process just means more chaos, more chasing, and more wasted time, and probably wasted money if you have paid marketing. Most small service companies do not need more leads. They need to do a better job with the leads that they already have. I, I fell into this trap where, hey, I want to grow. What do? I just spend more money on marketing. In reality, I needed to fix my conversion and follow-up systems. So if your team isn't following up consistently, if your quotes sit in inboxes for days, if you're not closing the leads you already have, you really don't need more leads. You need a sales process that converts. Your sales process is the set of steps your team follows every time you take a lead from interest to close sale. And it should be documented because consistency is what builds trust, speed, and scalability. Really, it should be talked about regularly also as just part of your company culture. Here's just a quick overview example of a sales process. Step one would be lead received. They go into your project management system. Step two is initial contact. You need to make that call, text, email contact within 20 minutes wherever possible. Next, you qualify them and interview them. Is your product the right fit, and what do they actually need? Then you send them an estimate with clear pricing, next steps, and you try and send it even if they aren't ready to purchase or not, so that they have something in their hand. Then they fall into a follow-up loop, usually a day one. A lot of times this is an automated follow-up from your project management system. The second follow-up is a week later. That's personalized. Oftentimes I recommend this being a text message. And then follow-up 3 is 2 weeks later. Usually that would be just a final check-in phone call kind of thing. And then at that point, you need to close them or close out, right? You need to mark them as won or lost in your CRM. It's important that the goal isn't for this system to be rigid, it's for it to be repeatable. And then once your sales process is documented, your team can follow it, you can train it, and you can improve it. It's also important that you follow it yourself so that you set a good example. Follow-up is really one of the most key portions and really the biggest mindset shifts in this with this concept. Most sales are lost because we simply don't follow up. If someone fills out a form on your website requesting a quote, you get them that quote and they do not approve it. What happens to that, whatever you want to call it, lead, quote, really potential sale? What happens to it? I would say that the good news in this is your competitors probably aren't following up either. So when you do, it gives you a way higher chance to win. Just to go back through that basic follow-up rhythm, day 0 is I send out the estimate. Day 1 is a follow-up, right? About 24 hours later. Typically, you can have this follow-up be automated from your quoting system, which that's great. It's one less thing that we all have to do. But the next 2 follow-ups probably shouldn't be automated. They should be personalized. So I recommend a day 7, kind of first real follow-up. It's a check-in, ask if they have questions. I like that via text message. Text is so accessible for people. It's amazing. And then day 14, you do a last follow-up. And sometimes some people offer value there, a little bit of discount or urgency or assistance, but you try and have some other idea of why you're reaching out to them. But it's important that we want to use email, text, and phone for these follow-ups, just because you're not sure which channel or which medium that the client prefers. I'll say it again, I really like texting for that day 7 follow up. We do that at SG Window Tint. We use a system called Sakari, which is a great two-way texting system. It allows for templates. So we have scheduled days of the week where we do those follow-ups, and they just find the client. Sakari has all of our clients in it because I use Zapier to connect TitWiz and Sakari. And they just find the client, use the template, personalize it where needed. Using a tool like that drove up our lead conversion rate about 10%, which is unbelievable. Yeah. Again, all of these follow-ups I would recommend being templated. So in that's you can provide templates for every step of this just to make it easier on your team. So I usually include those templates in my sales process document. So your homework for this lesson is to write down how a sale should go in your business from the moment the lead comes in to the moment when they say yes. And when I say how it should go, I mean, perfect scenario. You have nothing going on, you're in a great mood, but you really are really hungry to close this sale. How do you treat a lead in that scenario? Not when you're busy, not when you're at a job site, not when you got a bunch of things going on, not when you're having a bad day. In an ideal scenario, how should the a lead be handled? It should have step-by-step actions. It should say who's responsible, what tools and templates. It should have the schedule of follow-up as well as follow-up messages. We have a starting place. This is a pretty individualized process to different businesses, but we have a starting place for that included with this lesson, a template that you can download and just start customizing and making unique to your process in your business. But do that and put it in your SOPs folder, put it in a shared drive so your team can use it every time and eliminate the guesswork. Also, usually when you have a sequence of steps, will increase response times, which speed the lead. That 20-minute response time is crucial in your conversion rate. So, but all of this goes to just even small incremental improvements in your closing rate. So, common mistakes that we see in this realm is people relying on a winging it process for when somebody calls in or comes in or fills out a form, and they think that having it be customized to that specific person is a better way, and it's really not. You really need to follow a process. I've said it a few times already, but I will say it again. Another common mistake is letting quotes go cold without follow-up. What happens to that lead that received a quote that has not approved it? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Obviously, we see a lot of businesses without documents or maybe training. Maybe they have a documented sales process, but they don't have consistent training and talk about it enough. So the biggest mindset issue here is we see service business owners chasing new leads instead of nurturing our existing ones. That's a common mistake that we see. There's also sometimes a mindset of, oh, well, they have the quote. If they're interested in converting, purchasing, they will reach out. They won't. They're busy. They got stuff going on. You got to be proactive and out there, being easy to do business with. That's a mindset I try and be in when I'm managing our sales process. Is we need to be as easy as possible to do business with. So we should be proactive in this space, not reactive. What should you do next? Well, you should map out your current sales process. What's working? What's missing? Then write down the ideal sales flow step by step. And again, ideal. You're in a good headspace. You have time, but you're hungry for the lead. What does that ideal sales flow look like? Then add a 3-step follow-up sequence to every proposal. And once you got this document ready and this process ready, train your team. Inside Service Catalyst in the community, we talk sales process all the time. Mine at SG Windowton is getting better and better because of discussions like this. Also, inside the Next Step Accelerator, will help you refine and test your process. You can confidently turn more leads into paying customers. If you're tired of losing leads to the abyss, it's time to document, automate, and follow up. Your business doesn't need more leads. It needs a process that closes them. So we'll see you in the next lesson where we cover marketing and visibility. How does your business get found by more potential clients?